You know security is hard, so let's assume we're probably gonna get pwned by noon. But if we all start to get the basics right, we might not fully get pwned until tonight.
Well, hi everybody. Brian Johnson here with the 7 Minute Security Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in here today. This is going to be part 3, the final part of our series on how to build a $500 pen testing lab. Now, if you haven't gone back and checked out parts 1 and 2, you might want to do that before looking at today's episode. Part 1 focused on the hardware components required to get this lab up and operational. And part 2 went into the storage and network config necessary to get your pen testing lab set up in such a way that its network traffic is totally isolated. And that way, if you're going to mess with EtterCap and BetterCap and Responder, like I'm about to show you, it doesn't jack with any other parts of your home or work network. So let's take a look at Responder. This is a tool you can get for free off of GitHub. And what it does is sits listening on the network for certain types of broadcast traffic, and then it poisons the responses to those broadcast requests so that clients will send authentication information to my attacking machine here, my Kali box. So I'm going to run Responder on my ETH0 interface with a couple of flags here, W, R, F, and V. So I'm going to let that run, and then I'm going to flip over to my Windows 10 client machine and kind of show you something that you'll see quite often in other blog posts or videos about Responder that I think absolutely happens in real life pen tests, and that is that people try to browse to resources that either don't exist or they've misspelled the resource. So under this Windows 10 box here, I'm going to just log in as a generic user called loser, and I'm going to try to do a SMB connection to a resource that I'm going to intentionally misspell. So I'm going to look for server 01, but I'm going to throw an extra R in there. And in a few seconds, Windows will kick back at me saying, hey, that does not exist. But let's see what happened over on my Kali box with the Responder tool. Now here, essentially, Responder has raised its hand and said, oh yeah, I'm that misspelled resource. You can just go ahead and shoot some authentication information to me. And you'll see we have captured the hash for loser. So let's copy that. And I'm going to open up a new terminal window here. And I'm just going to stick this information in a text file called loser.txt. Alright, then I'm going to cut John the Ripper loose. And I'll just use the RockU word list, which is one of my favorites. Pretty standard go-to word list for cracking efforts. And there we go. John the Ripper has discovered that this user's password was Brian Johnson. Not a very good password, so I guess note to self, I'm going to have to go change all my online accounts immediately. Alright, let's take a look at one more example. So I've got this domain controller here called PTSRV01 that I'm going to log into as domain admin. And I'm going to simulate another kind of job. Again, I saw this many times. In fact, I hate to say I was the setter-upper of a batch job like this, where there would be some sort of SMB connect to an entire subnet just to either inventory machines or check if a file existed, that kind of thing. So I'm actually going to try to do an SMB connect directly to something that doesn't exist, the $C resource on our Kali attacking box. So again, Windows says it cannot access that. Let's go back and check on our Kali box and see what Responder has found. And here we go. It has grabbed the administrator username and hashed password. So let's take that again. Let's fire up John the Ripper and rockyou.txt and see if we strike gold again. Alright, looks like unfortunately we struck out with rockyou.txt. So I thought I'd just show you one extra little exercise here using a tool called Crunch to create a custom word list. I've got a little shell script here that is going to create me a custom word list with every combination of season and year starting with 20. So I'm going to get winter 2001, 2, 3, 4, all the way through 99. Same for spring, summer, and fall. And I'm just going to keep appending it to a file called seasons.txt. You might want to do a man space crunch if you want to get a little bit more detail on what all these variables mean. Alright, let's take a quick look at this seasons.txt word list and make sure it looks set to go before we launch it with John the Ripper. Okay, looks like all the years and seasons appear to be accounted for. So let's run John against our new custom word list and we'll see how things pan out. And look at that, we have cracked the password. It is fall 2016. That's lovely. Now I wanted to show you something that I got screwed up with the first time I used John the Ripper. I didn't realize that John stores all its captured or cracked credentials in a file called john.pot. So if you ever find that you're running cracking attempts at a bunch of different hashes and all of a sudden you see a message like this, it just means that John is telling you, hey, I've already got it, check the john.pot file. Alright, well that's what I was hoping to accomplish today, folks, is just close out our DIY $500 pen testing lab series with a quick demo of a couple pen test tools. I really pray that you found this helpful and have been able to get your own pen testing lab up and running. And if I can help you, get things set up or be of any other resource to you, please reach out. I would love to hear from you via email or Twitter or what have you. I've made some great connections. I've learned a lot from you, and I hope that you're able to learn a few things from me too. So all my contact information will follow shortly, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care, everybody. Have a blessed week. Bye-bye.
You've been watching or listening to an episode of 7 Minute Security, a weekly podcast focusing on IT and information security topics, such as penetration testing, network configuration, virtualization, and career advice. For more information, visit www.7ms.us.